Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Today, we're going to talk about Mr. Donald Trump. It appears that Donald Trump has met his match. His goose might be cooked. He was found guilty on all 34 counts in his hush money trial. And I'm going to kind of break some of this down for you, give you my assessment. And also, we can sit back and kind of think about what this might mean for American politics. So get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button, buckle your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Donald Trump, it looks like Donald Trump has been hit pretty hard. He was found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in his first criminal trial, or in his criminal trial. It was the first criminal trial against a U.S. president. This is going to be interesting. So let me read some of what's going on for you. And as you hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, make sure you thumbs up, share, subscribe. It says here that Donald Trump has been found guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records in a criminal hush money scheme to influence the outcome of the 2016 election. The verdict came after a jury deliberated for less than 12 hours in the unprecedented first criminal trial against a U.S. president. It marks a perilous political moment for Trump, the presumptive nominee for the Republican nomination, whose poll numbers have remained unchanged throughout the trial but could tank at any moment. Trump was convicted by a jury of 12 New Yorkers of felony falsification of business records, which makes it a crime for a person to make or cause false entries in records with the intent to commit a second crime. He will be sentenced on January 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Now, give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no in the chat. How many of you were following this? Give me a yes or no. How many of you even care? How many of you saw this? How many of you were surprised by this? Let me know. Give me like a one-word response. Hey, how you doing, Bobby? And Soda Movies. Let me see what Soda Movies has to say. He says, the same reason people laughed at his conviction will make them cry when he becomes president. Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Give me a yes or no. How many of you think that this might backfire on the Democrats? How many of you think that being convicted might actually make him more popular and more likely to become president? Give me a yes or no based on what you think on that. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to tell you the way Trump supporters think, because Trump supporters don't tend to respect institutions. They don't respect American institutions. They've lost faith in them. They probably aren't going to. This will probably really rile up his base. I just would be surprised to see if that be the case. And the only way I think they could keep Trump from becoming president at this point would be to simply make sure that it was just against the law for him to run. That somehow they just make it illegal for him to even be in the race. And then that's a very dangerous place to be, I think, because then you're risking like this revolution. You're really risking this idea that people will just say, we're just going to take the White House by any means necessary. And that's kind of a scary thing for our country to kind of hit. But it's not out of the question. So let me read more of this to you. It says here that, quote, this was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. Trump said at the courthouse after the verdict was read, this was a rigged trial, a disgrace. But of course, Trump's going to say that. That's because that's what Trump does. In Trump's case, the Manhattan District Attorney's office alleged that Trump falsely recorded the reimbursements he made to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who paid the adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 for her silence about her affair with Trump as "quote unquote" legal expenses. The prosecution alleged the falsifications were made to conceal Trump's violation of New York State election law, which makes it a crime to promote the election of any person to office through unlawful means. Prosecutors argued in part that those unlawful means were the $130,000 payment to Daniels, which was in effect an illegal campaign contribution because it was done solely for the benefit of his 2016 campaign and exceeded the $2,700 individual contribution cap. So it seems to me that what they're saying is that when Trump went and slept with this lady, this porn star lady, which, I mean, it's the oldest thing in the book. Men, you got to learn how to control your junk. Because that's how they always bring men down, is they bring them down through something sexual. So his choice to have sex with this lady, way back in 2007, something like that. This came up where he was probably, he was probably shook down a little bit. He's probably told, I imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if he was told, hey, if you don't pay me, I'm going to go and tell people this, right? Which right there, to me, that's a little problematic. That comes off almost criminal. And so he says, okay, I'll pay the money, which is weird to me that you have to pay money because you slept with somebody. I don't think sex is illegal. Last time I checked, it's not illegal. And so he pays the money. And they say that because he paid this money in order to avoid having his campaign damaged, that constitutes an illegal campaign contribution, because the most money that can be paid to protect your campaign is $2,700 or something, I guess, something like that. Maybe that. I hope that's a decent summary. I'm gonna tell you, these laws are so funny to me, man. They are hilarious. I'm because I think I try to think about things deeply if I can. And my fundamental question is this: it is, why are people paying money because they had sex with somebody? I don't get it. I wish, I really wish, I dream about the day that if I could have had a life where every time I had sex with a woman, she had to pay me $130,000. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice if every ex you ever slept with had to write you a check for $130,000? And you got to have sex too. That's kind of cool, right? That's a nice combination. I got the ass, and I got the cash, ass and cash, right? That to me is the part that's so hilarious to me, is this idea that people have to pay, because now don't get me wrong. Look, if it was some old Diddy type stuff or some Bill Cosby allegations, like he took it without permission, then yeah, there's going to be a price to pay. Whether it's a criminal situation or a financial situation, it tends to be more financial than criminal, but either way. But this, from what I checked, I mean, let me know, what was it? This was consensual, right? This was not, Trump didn't run in there and take it, and so this was consensual. So I'm trying to really understand. Do y'all get what I'm saying, or do I sound like a weirdo? Let me know. Let me know if you're kind of following my argument here. I'm not. I don't even before we get down the road of talking about whether or not he broke the law, or whether or not campaign finance laws were violated. I just want to go back to the simple, basic presumption of, like, who said that you got to pay money because you slept with somebody? And really, what I think is interesting to me, I think this was a strategic blunder on the part of Trump, is this idea that somehow he had to pay this money to protect his seemingly stellar reputation. From what I understand, most Trump supporters, they kind of know who Trump is. Trump, I remember when Trump made that comment. Y'all remember this, when he said, I could shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and they would still elect me? So to me, if you could shoot somebody and still get elected, I assume that they would forgive you for having sex. I don't think that they would say, "Oh my goodness, you're a sinner, so we're not going to give you our vote anymore." I just don't understand that, right? So I think that this is what's so weird to me, is I'd love to understand, like, why did you pay this lady money anyway? Because I'm not going to pay nobody. Look, if I having sex with me is reward enough. You've already had the experience of a lifetime, and you're lucky I let you ride this ride. Don't show up talking about I got to pay you money so that nobody knows what we did, because what happened was not illegal. That's the part that's weird to me. I don't get that part of it. Now, the other piece of it, you get deeper into this. So once they make the payment, Michael Cohen, the former attorney for Trump, takes money and he pays it on his behalf, and then they reimburse Michael Cohen. And so these reimbursements apparently were categorized as legal expenses. Okay. So, which they probably weren't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe that they were. I believe that they were, well, they might have been legal expenses in the sense of, like, I need my lawyer to be my fix-it man. So maybe they were more like fix-it man expenses. And so that ends up, I guess, coming under scrutiny from the people that are prosecuting, who happen to be Democrats. Now, I want to ask y'all this question. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that this trial was politically motivated? Give me a yes if you think that politics was a driver in this trial, or if you think this had nothing to do with politics. Like, if Trump was a fellow Democrat, do you think that Alvin Bragg, the Democratic District Attorney of New York, would be prosecuting him? Do you think that Fannie Willis, these are all black people, but it's interesting how they've kind of used black people. Like we kind of get used a lot by the Democrats, right? They kind of prop us up like we're good. So you got Letitia James in New York who's black, and then Fannie Willis in Georgia who's black, Alvin Bragg in New York who's black. And I just think that's so weird. You have these little Negro puppets, like this, I don't get that part. Like they're just like, little spokespeople for the Democratic Party, and so they got the little, Joe Biden or the Democrats have their hand up their ass, and they're telling them like what to do and what to say, and we're so proud of that. I don't take pride in any of that, not because I have an issue with what political party you belong to, but because I just have an issue with the fact that they use you. They love to use black people to achieve their goals. They love to use black people to get what they want. They love to use black people to do their dirty work, but they don't want to let black people use them when it comes to getting the things we deserve. If we show up and we ask for that reparations check, they're going to act like they ain't got it. If we show up and we ask them to help fix our communities, they ain't going to have it. When we ask them to help us to build black-owned businesses, they ain't going to have it. When we ask them for the ability to build our own schools, they ain't going to have it, but they'll gladly pay a white person to educate your child, but they won't give you the resources to do it yourself. And so that's my bone to pick with this, right? I just, this idea that all the people prosecuting Trump are black, and they're trying to make the Trump thing into a racial thing. Now, I get it if you don't like Trump. I mean, I really never really liked the guy. He's always been kind of a prick, and he's whatever he is, right? He's not a nice person. But I don't understand why you're trying to make it into a racial thing, because what you're effectively doing, in my opinion, is you are hijacking the very sensitive trauma of racism, and you are making it into a Democrat Republican thing. You're basically finding all these very subtle ways to say to the black community, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. If you don't go along with us, then you ain't black. If you ain't prosecuting Donald Trump, you ain't black. And what you're seeing right now, and this is going to continue to cascade, is you're seeing millions of black people who are just like, I'm done with that. Stop using me, stop manipulating me, stop gaslighting me. And a lot of them are going to be more eager, I think, to support Trump now that he's been, they're kind of making him into a martyr. I really think that, because the reality is, here's what I believe. And again, you can disagree. It's totally okay. I hope, first of all, give me a yes or no if we can disagree and be cool with each other. I'd like to have a space where we can talk. And I know I got my biases just like you do. We all do. So give me a yes if it's okay. If we just talk, we're just talking, right? So if you don't like what I say, you think I'm half crazy, then just consider me to be the crazy uncle at the barbecue who's saying stuff that sounds stupid or crazy or ridiculous. Hey, that's what I am. I want to be the crazy uncle at the barbecue for some of y'all, and it's okay. I don't mind that. So with that said, I think this prosecution was politically motivated. I don't think there's any way on God's green earth they would prosecute any Democrat the way they prosecuted Trump, because you're talking about $130,000 that he paid because he slept with somebody. That right there, all that whole scenario is goofy and contrived anyway. Who said that you have to pay people because you slept with them? The second thing is, I think that if Trump were anybody in the Democratic Party, I don't think they would have pursued this. I think if Trump was a regular guy, I don't think they would have pursued this. I think they pursued this because they see Trump as a threat to take the White House, and they're engaging in all these politically motivated prosecutions and lawsuits so they can kind of force him out, because they can't convince the American people to ignore him or to not support him. They tried that. That's not working. So they're like, okay, we just got to push him out of bounds. We got to make sure that he's not going to be allowed to run. And I really think that if that's your strategy, it really better work, because here's what's going to happen. If they don't stop that man from running, he's going to win. If they can't legally stop him from running, you will have a President Trump in 2024. And then here's the other part. Here's the other part that you got to really pay attention to. This is me being the canary in the mine, telling you guys what I see down the road. Now you've opened the floodgate to what has already become a civil war in the United States. Civil war has already begun. It just hasn't turned into guns and bombs yet, but it's getting there. So civil war has begun. And so what's going to occur is that when Trump gets in power and the Republicans take over the House and or the Senate, but they're going to get one or the other, maybe both. What the Republicans are going to start doing is they are going to start prosecuting Democrats, because the thing about politics is messy. Politics is dirty. Politics, you can't tell me that a big chunk of these people are not connected to something that could be interpreted in a specific way to make them look like criminals, including your buddy Barack Obama. Even Barack Obama, I'm sure, has some connections and things that have occurred in his long career and distinguished career, by the way. I think Obama is such an intelligent man. I think he represented the country very well. I didn't understand a lot of his overcommitment to LGBTQ as opposed to black stuff. I didn't like that part. But in general, he's a smart guy. He's a thoughtful man. I think I would feel better with him being president than I would feel with either Trump or Biden, to be quite frank with you. However, I'm willing to bet you that Obama has stuff that if the wrong person was in power, they could interpret it in a certain way, look at it through a certain lens, and say, technically you broke the law, and technically you should be in jail, and technically we should sue you for $100 million. So this is a slippery slope that you're going down when you have people prosecuting their political enemies. This happens in other countries where they say, I don't like that guy, so now that I'm in power, I'm going to find charges that for something that he did. I'm sure he did something because he's been in politics a long time, and we're going to find something, we're going to go after him. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, by the way, guys, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. I have a new book out. It's a bestseller called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. If you do not have a copy yet, you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Also, we believe in wealth building. I believe that voting is not going to be the solution for Black people when it comes to the things that we need: rebuilding our families, rebuilding our communities, getting our children ahead of the curve, building our wealth. And so we're really big on Black wealth. And so we actually have financial flashcards for kids that we developed over a course of several years with experts from our community. And actually we have cards on entrepreneurship, stock market investing, even credit, even credit. So even like the credit flashcards, these cards have definitions of things like annual fees, annual percentage rates, balance transfers, APRs, billing cycles, cash advances, credit bureaus, stuff like that. And this is important because they don't teach this stuff in school. And so if your children are introduced to financial literacy at an early age, it will give them an advantage. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, just scroll down the page, you'll find our section for children where we have a whole Black business school for kids. You'll also see our section on love and money. My wife is a therapist who's a relationship counselor for a lot of couples. And so we have a section on love and money. And so anything that you need, we've got you. So go to drboycebooks.com and you'll find plenty of stuff there. All right. So we're talking about Donald Trump and his recent conviction on 34 counts related to this whole thing with Stormy Daniels. And so here's what else is being written about Donald Trump's conviction. I'm reading the UK Guardian. It says the witness. So apparently the Manhattan District Attorney's Office called 20 witnesses who over the course of 4 weeks gave evidence of how Trump plotted with the tabloid mogul David Pecker and Cohen to bury accounts of affairs with Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal. So apparently Trump was messing around with a lot of different women. And I'm telling you, fellas, like if you want to be in positions of power, you got to learn how to control your junk. Because I'm telling you, choosing the wrong women in your corner will bring you down very, very quickly. And I'm not saying that you can't hang out with the ladies and mingle and be single and do your thing. I would just encourage you to be thoughtful about it, because anybody that you let into your space, they can stab you from the inside, and you don't want to get caught in a bad situation off of that. All right. So anyway, it says here, the witnesses, some friendly to Trump, some openly hostile, said Trump's worry over the Daniels story intensified after the October 2016 release of the infamous Access Hollywood tape, in which Trump was caught on a hot mic bragging about sexual assault. They said, remember, he said, you can grab a woman by her, whatever. And so the recording featured Trump boasting about being able to grab women by the blank without their consent because he was famous. Trial witnesses testified the Trump campaign worried that his efforts to dismiss the tape as locker room talk would fail if more boorish behavior came to light. So apparently they have more things in Trump's history. And again, I told you the guy's a jerk. I mean, again, but literally, if you didn't vote for somebody because they were a jerk, you wouldn't be voting for anybody, because Biden's a jerk, Trump's a jerk. Who's a bigger jerk? I don't know. I'll let you decide that. But anyway, it says here, when the Daniels story threatened to become widely known, weeks before the 2016 election, Cohen moved into action and paid Daniels $130,000 to buy the exclusive rights to her story in order to suppress its publication. And that's something that happens a lot in business. A lot of times in business, companies will buy other companies just to get rid of the company. They won't even have any plans to grow the company or keep the company in business. They literally will buy the company just to make sure the company does not compete with them. So they went and bought the rights to her story, right? So they didn't call it a payoff or hush money. They just bought the rights to her story so they could choose not to publish it. After the 2016 election, prosecutors argued Cohen worked out an illicit payment plan in which he would be paid $420,000, an inflated sum they grossed up for tax reasons, the $130,000 and other items Cohen billed. The trial saw prosecutors elicit testimony from Cohen, Daniels, and a parade of Trump confidants and employees as they sought to establish that Trump concealed the alleged payoff scheme in an effort to ensure that he would not lose support from female voters. So he was worried about women not supporting him. I can understand why. Cohen proved to be perhaps the most legally consequential witness for the prosecution as he recounted how he used a home equity loan to raise the $130,000. So he wouldn't borrow money to protect Trump. Interesting. He then wired to Daniels' lawyer through a shell company. Cohen did so in the belief that Trump would reimburse him. He testified in January 2017. Cohen said he discussed with Trump and the former Trump Organization chief financial officer Alan Weisenberg about being repaid for the $130K and overdue bonus and other expenses he incurred during doing work that benefited the Trump 2016 campaign. Cohen produced 11 invoices seeking payment pursuant to a legal retainer that did not exist, according to Cohen, which led to 11 checks being cut to Cohen and the Trump Organization, recording 12 entries for legal expense on his general ledger, totaling 34 instances of alleged falsifications. Cohen, who was the final witness for the prosecution, said that Trump was furious when he learned that Daniels was on the verge of going public, not least because Cohen had previously worked with Daniels' lawyer, Keith Davidson, in 2011 to remove the affair story from a gossip website. Just take care of it, Cohen recalled Trump saying. This was a disaster, an effing disaster. Women will hate me. So apparently Trump was worried about losing his female support. Quote, would you have made that payment to Stormy Daniels without getting a sign-off from Mr. Trump? The prosecutor asked Cohen. No, because everything required Mr. Trump's sign-off. And on top of that, I wanted the money back, Cohen said. Cohen said that he filed bogus invoices for legal services to cover up the reimbursements and repeatedly said that Trump was the force behind the Daniels plot. He carried out the payoff to ensure that the story would not come out, would not affect Mr. Trump's chances of becoming president of the United States. In a watershed moment, Cohen told jurors these repayments started not long after a February 2017 meeting with Trump in the Oval Office where they talked about money. Cohen hadn't been repaid anything for the payoff. So apparently they had an issue over money. So let's stop for a moment there. Okay, so do y'all understand why, y'all, I assume you give me a yes if you know my background. I'm sure you do. I have to repeat it just because I'm not a financial influencer. I'm not a financial influencer at all. I'm a finance professor. That's what I do. So I hope you also understand why talking to you about money requires me to go outside of the simple basic stuff. Like, okay, here's what you put in your 401k. Here's how you manage your credit cards. That's easy. What's more interesting and more challenging is understanding how money affects so many other areas of our lives, how money affects politics, how money affects relationships. So let me tell you what my spidey senses are picking up here. I think I have a decent level of financial consciousness. We do financial consciousness training every morning. So my spidey senses are telling me this. Here's what happened, right? So process it like this. Cohen is your dog. That's your homeboy. He's got your back. He's your insider. You lean on Cohen to go and pay money. Again, there's that word money again. This just to remind you, to go pay money to this lady to get the story so that it doesn't get released so you can become president. Months later, Cohen is in your office saying, hey, man, where's my money? And you have not paid him yet. I'm going to tell you what I'm picking up here is why would Cohen, your previous insider, your Ace Boone, your buddy, why is he on the other side speaking on behalf of the prosecution? Well, I'm willing to bet you that there was a dispute over money. I'm willing to bet you, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the first shakedown led to a bigger shakedown. It's like I go with you, you roll with me to go get the guy who owes us money. And now you hold it over my head that we went and robbed this person together. So you asked for money to cover up the fact that I went with you to go and collect this money. So I wonder what Cohen was asking for in return. That's the point. I wonder if Cohen came back and said, hey, man, look, I got you in the White House. I hooked you up. I paid that $130 to that lady. I broke the law for you. So I don't just want $130 back. I want $500,000. I want $1 million. I want access to the White House, right? And I wonder if it got to the point where Trump just said, "Screw you, F you. I don't care. I'm throwing you out with the bathwater." And then next thing you know, this is what's happening, right? They're in court, and so it's kind of an interesting thing because it's almost like when somebody's that close to you, you kind of have to always take care of them. I tell my daughter that. I say, look, if you ever do some major dirt and you get somebody that's with you when you're doing dirt, always take care of that person. And if you got to cut them out gently. Warren Buffett actually talks about that. Warren Buffett says if you have people in your life that are draining you, get rid of them, but get rid of them gently because it can get very, very messy. So here in this case, I don't think that there would even be a case if it wasn't for the breakdown in the relationship between Trump and Cohen. See, relationships. There's that other word I use all the time. I talk to you guys about how money and relationships are connected and how money drives politics and everything else. So here you had, in my view, a relationship that broke down that led to this trial, which has led to Trump being convicted. So to me, it just says somebody was not being strategic enough. And if you want to know who I'm going to vote for in the next election, because whenever I talk objectively, people think I'm a Trump supporter, which is just stupid because that's because that's silly. And even if I was, it would be my right to do that. But I'm not. I'm not voting for Trump or Biden. So if you want to know who I'm voting for, I vote for Black people. If you want to know what I'm voting for, I vote for Black wealth. I vote for Black family. I vote for Black love. I vote for Black education. I vote for Black people. I don't give a damn what these dudes are doing up on Capitol Hill because they're not doing anything that's going to help solve these problems. In fact, give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no if you agree. We did this yesterday when we were talking about Powernomics. We do Powernomics training every Wednesday in the Black Business School. It's completely free to the community. If you want to join us, by the way, you can text the word greatness to the number 87948. Write that number down, 87948. Text the word greatness to 87948. We're reading Dr. Claude Anderson books. And we were talking about politics just last night in our Powernomics training. And let me tell you, give me a yes if you agree with this. If Trump or Biden gets elected into office, that's not going to improve the status of Black families. Give me a yes if you agree that whoever we elect is not going to make our family stronger. We have a fatherlessness problem. We have a broken family issue. I don't think either one of those guys is going to be able to fix it or even try. Give me a yes if you agree that that the wealth problem is not going to be fixed no matter who gets elected. Give me a yes if you agree with that. Do you agree that if Trump or Biden gets elected, that they're not going to do anything to fix the fact that Black wealth is expected to go to zero by 2053? Give me a yes if you agree also that if Trump or Biden gets elected, that Black children are not going to be any better educated than they are right now. That we're still going to have millions of kids coming out of school who can't read, can't write, can't do math, can't balance a checkbook, don't know how to use a credit card, don't know how to even get a damn job. These are problems you have to solve. So my energy is not going to be spent on this platform telling you who to vote for. I don't give a damn who you vote for because I don't think it matters. Honestly, I don't. And people get mad at me when I say that. But my response to them is I challenge them. I say, okay, show me evidence. Show me where all this damn voting that you're doing is really fixing your community. So at the end of the day, you can talk all day about Dr. Boyce. He must be a closet Republican or whatever. You know what? I have values that maybe sometimes I align with the Democrats. The Democrats tend to take care of poor people. The Democrats tend to do things like help with the homeless and stuff like that. And so I align with that. I think that's fine. But then also some Republican values make sense to me. Like I'm not pro-choice. I think that there's a conspiracy to abort Black babies. I think they don't want Black babies to be born. So I agree with my conservative friends when they have an issue with that particular thing because I do too. They told my mother to abort me, and I was like, why? Because you ain't got no money. Why the hell should money? Again, there's that word money again. This is why finance professors talking right now is it's like why in the hell should money be the difference in life or death for a child? I don't even understand that. There are plenty of poor people who have very healthy, happy children who have a chance to have a wonderful life. So this idea that you're going to go to the hood and go to the projects and tell young ladies that because they don't have enough money that they shouldn't give birth to their children, I think that's an abomination. It's an abomination, but I'm not saying it from a religious sense. I'm saying it from a spiritual sense. It doesn't feel spiritually right, and I hate it. So there you go. So there's Dr. Boyce's views in a nutshell. You don't have to agree. We can all disagree and still be family, but that's where I stand. Okay. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. If you want to get started on your wealth building journey, we have a great program in the Black Business School at blackmoney101.com. It's lifetime access. You can share it with your whole family. It'll make you an economic genius. You'll be an economic leader in your family. I guarantee you. I taught at Syracuse University I taught finance there for a long time, so I know what I'm doing. All right. So let's keep going here. So let's read more of this article about Trump and his trial and his conviction on 34 counts. It says, so I was sitting with President Trump, and he asked me if I was okay. He asked me if I needed money, and I said, no, all good, Cohen told jurors. He said, all right, just make sure you deal with Allen. Allen, who's Allen? Allen's reference was Allen Weisselberg, the Trump Organization's chief financial officer at the time, who was recently incarcerated for lying at Trump's recent civil fraud trial. Weisselberg had previously pleaded guilty to tax crimes for which he was also jailed. Cohen submitted $35,000 in invoices for each month, listing the bill as legal services. He said it was actually for reimbursement to me. Reimbursement to me of the hush money fee, along with another expense and the bonus. Hoffinger went through every invoice and pay document and asked Cohen whether it was legal for legal services or false. Okay. Cohen repeatedly said that the description of the invoices and payments and emails and business documents were in fact false. What I was doing was at the direction and benefit of Mr. Trump, Cohen said at one point, among the many times he directly implicated Trump. Everything required Mr. Trump's sign off. Daniels provided stunning testimony that undermined Trump's denials that they slept together following a celebrity golf event in Lake Tahoe nearly 2 decades ago. So what's so hilarious is like, it's so crazy to have this big trial over 20-year-old sex. I mean, that's big. And I think this is interesting, right? This is like one of those between the lines things that I think you should talk to your sons about, because men, we're the ones who get in the most trouble over sex. And also we're the ones who get scrutinized the worst when it comes to a false accusation or whatever. I would almost tell you, I really believe that if you are a man and you want to have a position of leadership, you got to learn how to be very conscious of who you sleep with. You can't go trusting every big butt and a smile that comes along. You can't, or it's going to eventually catch up with you, because every time in finance we have something called a moral hazard problem. We've talked about this in economic awareness training that we do every morning at 10 a.m. And moral hazard basically means that when you're in certain situations with people, you're giving them power. So when you are a man and you decide to lay down with that girl and you think it ain't no big deal, I'm just going to get me some and bounce out, you're giving power to that woman. So if you're a man that has a certain reputation or a business or a family or other things going on, that person then has the power to then go tell a story about you that may not be favorable to you. Take it from a guy who's made that mistake, not necessarily sexually, but in terms of letting people get close to me who had no business being close to me. And then they would go and they would say things and I would say, well, that's not true. Why would you say that? But people just believe it because they said it. And I think there's a perception that if a man is powerful and he gets accused of being a bad person, he must be a bad person because only bad people get to be that powerful or something. I don't know. It's very strange to me, but it's something that really taught me about awareness. And so what I would say to you, and I think this is something I did right, even before I was married, I would take time to get to know women really well before I let myself get that close to them, not because I needed you to cover anything up, but because I just needed you to be honest. And if you're honest, then I could sleep with you because I know I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm not going to take it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. And so as long as you're just honest about it, then it's okay. So because there are some dishonest people out here that will be bitter and mad and hurt and decide, okay, if I go down, you're going down too. So I think with Trump, I think it was just incredibly unstrategic. You're sleeping with porn stars. Porn stars are nasty. They got diseases and all that. Why would you even put yourself through all that? Anyway, let me keep going. That's my little rant about that. All right. So don't think that your sexuality does not connect to your economic and professional success. It's all connected. It's all connected. All right. So let's see here. So Daniels said that she went to Trump's hotel room and they decided to chat before grabbing something to eat. He asked over and over about her work as an adult film star, repeatedly asking her questions such as, what about testing? Do you worry about STDs? Had she been tested? Yes, of course. And I volunteered it as well, Daniel said. He asked me, oh, well, you ever had a bad test? I said, nope. I can show you my entire record. Trump started to show photos of Daniels at one point, including photos to Daniel, including one of Melania, about which she commented that his wife was very beautiful, but allegedly added that she should not worry about Melania because we don't even sleep in the same room. They spoke about Trump's show, The Apprentice, and Daniels remarked that there would be no way she would make it on TV, given her line of work. He said, you remind me of my daughter. Ooh, that's creepy. She is smart and blonde and beautiful, and people underestimate her as well. Daniels remembered Trump saying. Daniels excused herself for the restroom, which was through a bedroom. When she came out, Trump was on the bed in his underwear and a t-shirt. At first, I was just startled, like a jump scare, Daniels said. I just thought, oh my God, because, she's a damsel in distress, the porn star. Okay. So she said, oh my God, what did I misread here? Oh, I do declare. The intention is pretty clear. Someone stripped down to their underwear and on the bed. Daniels tried to leave, but he stood between her and the door, albeit not in a threatening manner, she said. So this is funny. I mean, she's a porn star though. You do this all the time. All right. So anyway, he said, "I thought we were getting somewhere. I thought you were serious about what you wanted. If you want to get out of that trailer park," Daniels testified. "I was offended because I never lived in a trailer park," Daniels said. She said they then had sex. The description of the hotel room encounter was uncomfortable and cringe-inducing testimony. One of the prosecutors suggested in closing arguments. But that was precisely why Trump was so desperate to suppress the story. So anyway, so there you go. So that's what's going on with Trump. If you want to know what I predict that if they don't force him legally to not be able to run for president, then you will have a President Trump in 2024. The only way they can stop him at this point is if they legally make it somehow just not allowed for him to run. And I'm not sure. I don't know the election laws. I got to research this, but I think if he's taken off the ballot in the states where he has a chance to win, then that's where there would be a problem. But if he's taken off the ballot in states where he's not going to win, I don't think it matters. And I think that our country is so divided right now that it's incredibly unfortunate. I think that this division in this country is going to destroy America. America was not built as solidly as you were taught in school. We were taught that the founding fathers were perfect and they did everything right. They didn't do everything right. They just didn't. They messed up in a lot of areas. And I think that you're starting to see the cracks in the foundation. And I think it's only going to get worse. Now, I'd be curious to know, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that he's going to end up going to jail or not? Give me a yes or no in the chat. If you think that Trump is going to go to jail, give me a yes. If you think he's going to go to jail, give me a no. If you think that he's not. And also, while you do that, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And also, if you don't know how to invest yet and you want to get started in the Black Business School, we have what we call the $5 a day investment plan. It's the Black Wealth Master Plan. If you'd like to take a look at that for free, just go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. It will put your family in a strong economic position in less than a decade, and you will have a wealthy family in less than a generation. It's very easy to do. My I'm a financial scientist, and this is something that I do for a living. So feel free to go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. Okay, so Pragmatic says no. Epic Eric says no. Let's see here. Pragmatic also says she admitted on video with Bill Maker it was consenting. Yeah, I think it was consenting too. I don't fall for that whole net. I mean, I'm sorry, but again, you do sex for a living, so it's not as if you can use language that will make you relatable to a regular woman. Most women don't sleep with men for money on television. So I'm not saying that she deserved anything. I'm not saying that it means anything inappropriate should have happened. I'm just saying that, I think the rules are a little bit different for porn stars in the sense that when they tell a story, I think that there's a reason to hear it differently than if a regular person is talking that way. Let's see here. No, if it was Barack, a Black man, he would go to jail. Yeah, I think so too, PD. I agree. And really to give a credit to Barack, I mean, he ran a really stellar presidency. This man no scandals, no nothing. I mean, he's either very well protected or he's just extremely strategic and smart. And I give him a lot of credit for that. That's why I would support him as president, just because I just think he's better at representing the United States. He's better at representing the kind of pride that we should have in our president. Joe Biden is mumbling and stumbling and falling all over himself. Trump is a crazy man and a criminal. And kind of he is a little bit of a dictator and a warlord. I'm not a fan of Trump's in that way. I think Barack Obama was the kind of diplomatic person that represents the United States well. And I would say that even if he wasn't Black, he's half Black, he's half white. I like the guy. I don't believe he's going to solve significant problems for the Black community, though. That's a whole different thing. It's almost like when Hill Harper announced that he's running for president. I don't know Hill Harper. I know people that know him, and I like Hill Harper a lot. I think he's so smart. He's running for Senate in Michigan, and I think Hill deserves to win. He deserves support, but I don't care if he wins or not, only because I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't, because the money, it's the money. Every day we talk about money, and let me just tell you, the money screws politics up. The money, like I sit here and I look at Hill and I say, man, you're sharp. You look like Obama. He's even gesturing like Obama. Like he's kind of got this Obama-like sort of positioning. And I think he went to school with Barack. And so he's going to be very successful. But I think I did kind of say to myself, what difference does it make, brother? Like who's funding you? I want to know who's putting up the money to get you elected. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 with most politicians, no disrespect to Hill, because I like Hill a lot. I really do. I want to reiterate that so it doesn't come off as anti-Hill at all. It's not. But I really want to know who's paying your damn bills. Because at the end of the day, people will follow the path of the people that are paying their bills. Whoever you allow to pay your bills is the person you're going to serve. It's like if I am, and this is the problem with the Black community. If you come, let's say I got a family that's starving. Let's say my family needs food, and then I get a good job working at Burger King. So my family comes up in Burger King. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat good now because we got cousins gonna hook us up." Let's say Burger King tells me, "Look, if we catch you giving away any free food, you're fired. If you even give a discount, you're fired." Am I really going to feed my family? Am I really going to do that? I mean, if I do, I'm doing it at great risk. I risk losing my job, which kind of undermines, the whole situation in the first place. I mean, that kills the whole come up. The whole come up was dependent upon me getting the job at Burger King. So you got excited because I got the job at Burger King because you thought everybody was going to eat. Do you understand? But no, when I got the job at Burger King, everybody ain't eating. I'm eating. And then maybe I have a couple of scraps I'm allowed to give you, but I'm eating and I'm serving Burger King. I ain't serving you. Do you follow what I'm saying? And that's what it is with the voters. Most of your politicians are nothing more than Burger King employees. A black face in a high place is a Burger King employee because you show up and the Negro's wearing a uniform and he's got just as much independence as this damn puppet. This puppet only moves when I tell it to move because I got my hand up its ass. So if you want this puppet to do anything for you, you don't ask him. Why would you ask a puppet? He's an inanimate object. He has no free will. You should be asking me because I'm the one who decides whether this puppet's going to go low, stay high, move left, move right. If he's going to talk, if he's going to dance, I'm the one who tells the puppet what to do. Do you follow what I'm saying? So the person who controls the economics in America, are y'all following me? Let me know. Give me a yes or you're following. The people who control the economics control the politics. And that's your problem in America is because you don't have your wealth together. You don't have the economics to even buy your politicians in the United States. You don't have that kind of money. Now, the Zionists in the Anti-Defamation League and AIPAC, they have the money, and that's why Joe Biden sent $100 billion worth of bombs to Israel and Ukraine. That's why, despite the fact that all of the people of the Democratic Party, that the majority of people of the Democratic Party are saying, stop paying for the genocide, they still keep paying for the genocide. Why are they doing that? Well, you got to go look and see who's paying the bills, who's funding their campaigns. Do we get that? Did that message get through? Did I use the puppet? That's a little prop to help make the message come through clear. I hope that helps. Anyway, let me stop being silly. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. And I hope you guys, I hope you gained something from this conversation. I'd be curious to see what's going to happen, and we will keep up with this. And don't forget that this podcast, the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, is also on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown or look up my name, Boyce Watkins, you'll find it there. And in addition to that, every single morning we do financial consciousness training or what we call economic awareness training. Because if you can't see the money, you'll never be the money. And it's totally free. It's every single day, 7 days a week at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you'd like to join us for economic awareness training, a free class in the Black Business School, we help thousands and thousands and thousands of people to heighten their economic awareness. Just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. If you text morning to 87948, I'll not only invite you to our economic awareness training, I will also send you lots of free stuff. I'll send you stock picks that I like that will help you make money. I will send you free trainings on different things that can help you get going when it comes to understanding economics. You hang out with me, I'm gonna make your life right. So anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out. My Instagram, by the way, is Dr. Boyce Finance. So and I have a backup at Dr. Boyce Money because they took down my other Instagram. I had almost 700,000 followers and they decided to take it down, but maybe I deserve it because I just kind of say stuff that gets me in trouble, but it's okay. I'm not gonna stop. So just feel free to follow me on Instagram at Dr. Boyce Finance and or Dr. Boyce Money. And I'll keep on, we'll keep on keeping on. All right, guys. So have a good day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.